Glad to see you all. Let me recognize the CEO for Nesino and Osori Town Council, Ms. Anu, and officials from Suva City Council as well, our officials from key ministries and government agencies, our students. I think Yetsen is in the house, right? Welcome to you, invited guests and members of the media. Also, agencies like Ethiopia Land Trust Code and others that are here on display. Thank you very much for being here. I welcome all of you and the members of the public as we mark this very important day for town and city planners. And we are all planners, as you would see later on in my remarks. Today we celebrate 73rd World Town Planning Day. And as with any other international observation, we dedicate this day to recognize this important role of planning and the role of this planning in our society and those that contribute to it. Ladies and gentlemen, well-planned towns and cities must provide certain things: integrated and inclusive solutions. They should provide also a quality, modern living to its citizens, thus giving standards, lifting the living standards and livelihoods of its citizens, which are central consideration in this planning process. So rather than just dedicating a day, planning is an everyday calculus to respond to evolving and growing challenges of the society. To achieve the best for the people, we need policies and plans that are robust and adaptable to the changing times and receptive to new concepts and ideas of quality living. Policies must provide an enabling environment for urban centers to respond to various shocks and challenges. Planning is a long-term thing. Today we need to plan, we need a plan that considers our future needs, not just 2 or 3 years, 5 years or even 10 years, but we must think 50 years down the track. So as planners, we need to think innovatively, we need to think outside the box. More importantly, we cannot do planning in isolation. As part of a small island developing state like Fiji, we have very limited resources. We have limited skills, and I hope some of you will contribute to this skills stock that we have. Planning needs to be a continuous effort by everyone, all of our stakeholders. So you would see the display today by Department of Town and Country Planning, but planning cannot be achieved by this department, which is under the Ministry of Commerce, Trade, Tourism and Transport. We need agencies like municipal councils. We need agencies like Ministry of Lands, Ministry of Housing. We need TLTB. We need the Water Authority of Fiji. We need FRA, Fiji Roads Authority. And we need EFL. We also need private sector, and we need all of you, the public, to collectively take steps towards modern planning. This year's theme is Think Global and Plan Local. Planners and policymakers need to have a wider vision. This is what the theme says. Because, as you know, Fiji is not an island alone. It's part of a bigger global community, the global landscape. So we need to take inspiration globally and then take that inspiration and make it our own. We must leverage groundbreaking technologies to make our cities modern and green. We need to aspire to the most sustainable cities in other parts of the world. The most sustainable cities in the world are today, we look at places like Tokyo, Copenhagen, and Berlin. So Tokyo is in Asia, and the other two cities are in Europe. But we can achieve what they have achieved if we plan better. Ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know that we have a partnership with the Singapore government. We've entered into a long-term planning framework. This consists of a 50-year master plan for major cities and towns in BP level. A master plan will provide a broad template for our towns and cities to develop their own individual town schemes. Master plan process is making us and the agencies think of the future economic sectors, what is required to build a smart, sustainable, and resilient cities and towns. Our belief is that the master planning approach must be one that is forward-looking and must be proactive rather than reactive. Let me tell you a little bit about what we are doing in terms of reforms to improve our planning. Planning means looking within and identifying areas of improvements. And as I've said earlier, plans and policies and agencies must be adaptable. They must also welcome and encourage change and reforms of our procedures and policies. We should be humble enough to accept that there are improvements to be made as to how we run our processes and procedures. This means modernizing, changing, not making it more complex, but simplifying our systems. Digitalization of applications and approvals is critical, and our systems and processes should encourage small businesses to establish and to flourish. In this regard, we have a 24-month digitalization project, and there are two key areas that we are looking to. Starting a business, so if you are aspiring to start a business after school, after university, we'll make this simple, very easy. And second is very much connected to planning, which is the approvals process for construction permits. We are looking at these two areas. We will digitalize it in order for public and the private sector to obtain approvals in one spot, in one portal, using the internet. So as part of these reforms, we have also launched a trial phase of online application for starting a business. You may wish to visit this portal. It's called www.bizfiji.com. And in 2023, next year, starting a business application and approvals will be fully automated. And for construction permits, which is a permit you need before you start any construction project, we are currently undertaking information gathering. We will also digitize the process of obtaining construction permits. I talked about the Department of Town and Country Planning. Now, the town and country planning alone has contributed to the Fijian economy and its recovery in the building sector. They have processed or given approvals to building applications worth more than 70 million. So we are committed to ensuring that our laws are amended, streamlined, they take into account our streamlined approvals process. They emphasize on formulating inclusive and sustainable strategic long-term plans, making Fiji's planning system more user-friendly, and at the same time strengthen the control to deter some illegal developments as well. There's a lot of work ahead as far as reforming and strengthening our Department of Town and Country Planning, with the ultimate aim and objective to facilitate development, be more user-friendly, be more friendly to the general public, and this will aid, if we are more friendly to the business, it will aid in our economic recovery. We are also looking at strategic planning for future of our towns and cities. So when you see Suva or Nesinu or any other satellite town that you are part of evolve, they evolve in a strategic and planned manner, not in an ad hoc manner. So I want to also talk about some satellite towns. We acknowledge the urban agenda of the Fijian government and the need for sustainable and modern urban cities, not just in places which are already urban. So this includes the Fijian government investing in satellite town growth centers. This includes Nambawalu, Senganga, Korogo, and Kayasi. So you will see some developments coming up, but it will be again planned and sequential. We are doing this to create equal opportunities across not just in urban areas but rural areas as well, to reduce the rural to urban drift and ensure that our services that you find in Suva is accessible in other areas as well to all Fijians. So, ladies and gentlemen and students, let me conclude by saying that we live in a world of 8 billion people. And by 2050, nearly 7 out of 10 people will live in cities and urban areas. So how do we accommodate this? To sustainably accommodate this, now more than ever, our strategies and plans need to look ahead and be future-proof. And it's by looking ahead and planning ahead, we can realize our national goal of building a vibrant and sustainable cities and towns, and a stronger rural economy as well. And this is from our National Development Plan. The vision for a modern Fiji is for our planners, public agencies, industry experts to get together, and like the theme says, think global, plan local for a more vibrant and sustainable Fijian towns and cities. So, colleagues and students, I wish everyone a very happy town planning day. I hope you get to see some of the displays, get to ask as many questions as you want with our officials or me, and really get a good idea and a fair sense of what is planning. It's not a complicated science. You all can contribute. Your ideas are very valuable, and you can tell us what you'd like to see in the towns and cities and communities that you live in, and our planners will take that on board. I also want to encourage you to look at planning as a career, because it's a very rewarding career path, because you get to see, you get to sort of visualize, you take your ideas and get to conceptualize them and turn them into modern living environments. Your ideas virtually from paper take shape into real buildings and other urban characteristics. So please do think about a career in planning, and ask our officials, the officials from Town and Country Planning, as to how they can go about doing that. There's a lot of scholarships available in this regard. I'm sure TELS and other agencies are also looking at this as well. So students, colleagues, thank you very much. I wish you a very happy World Town Planning Day. Enough.